Good morning and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea and to yet another lovely grey summer's day here in Ireland. Today it's another look at books. I have 6 books to look at that I have added to my bookshelf this last month, and 3 have a tarot theme and 3 don't. And the 3 that we're going to look at first are the 3 non-tarot themed books. However, 2 of them do fall on that sort of esoteric sort of spectrum. And the first one we're looking at is Keith Barry. Now Keith Barry, it's his book Brain Hacks. Keith Barry is a world-renowned hypnotist and brain hacker, and this book is almost a little bit like the dare I make a comparison, sort of the self-help books to get you to think positively, to put you into a mindset that will help you achieve what you want to achieve. But let's see what it says on the back and see exactly what Keith is offering us in his book. Oh yes, this one is a signed copy too. Keith Barry is the world's leading TV hypnotist, mentalist and brain hacker. He has mastered the unique ability to hack into people's minds and rewire their subconsciousness. In this groundbreaking book, Keith reveals how, over the course of his astonishing career, he has developed a variety of techniques that will help you to cultivate a magical mindset and develop mental toughness subconsciously. These are the very techniques he uses every day to achieve the life of his dreams. And I suppose it's very true what they say: if you think positively, you will attract positivity. If you think negatively, you will attract negative sort of occurrences. If you feel you are stuck in a rut or need help in life, whether that's with your career, your finances, your personal life or anything else, this book will help you to move forward. When you master these methods, you too will discover that anything is possible when you put your mind to it. And that sort of when you put your mind to it, in a way, took me back to my childhood, when my father and mother would encourage me whilst I was going through the education system. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. And there were many a time where I would come back with, well, but no, I can't. And I recall a time when I was going through university, and after the second year, it was a 4-year degree course, and after the second year, I felt quite burnt out, and I said to my parents, I'm actually going to take a year's break. And in a sense, some people say, oh, well, they should have just let you take the break you wanted. No, my parents almost knew me better than I knew myself, and my father did say, if you take that break, you won't go back. And he is quite right. If I'd stopped something, that would be on the back burner, and it probably either wouldn't happen for years or it would never happen. And his words to me were, you can do this. Put your mind to it and you can do it. And I gave it one last bash, and I did. I succeeded in achieving my Bachelor of Education with honours, and it was no mean feat. It wasn't easy, but I made that conscious decision with the help of my parents giving me that support that I needed, that I was going to do this, and do it I did. But it's not always an easy road to make that decision. It's not always an easy road to say, okay, I'm going to put myself into that positive mindset. Sometimes we need help and guidance in order to do that, because sometimes life throws us so many curveballs that come from so many different directions, and we say, please don't tell me if I put my mind to it I can do it, because that's going to light the blue touch paper and I'm going to go off like a Polaris missile. But it's actually true. You know, if you put your mind to something, it sort of lights a determination. It's somewhere in your brain and in your heart and gives you a passion. And you say, come hell or high water, I'm going to do this. It doesn't matter what hurdles are thrown in front of me. I'm going to achieve what you would have almost thought would be the impossible for you. And like that, I am going to get through this book, and I'm going to see there are a couple of little things I want to achieve before my time on this earth is over, and it will be very interesting to see just how much Brain Hacks and Keith Barry's help and support via this book is going to give me that oomph. But remember, it's not just a case of reading the book and going, yeah, okay, fine, thanks. There are little practices in here, whether it's breathing practices, whether it's meditation practices, whether it's stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself to take that one little step to doing something. You have to be doing the steps with it. It's not just sort of, oh yeah, right, well, I can't really do that. No, I can't. If I read a little bit further on, I might be able to do it. Something else. It's like walking. We first have to learn to sit up. Then we have to learn to crawl. Then we get up on 2 feet, or before we crawl, we bum shuffle. You know, it's all steps that build us our confidence and our determination and feeds that fire of desire to achieve. So I'm looking forward to really getting stuck into that book. The next book, which is something that I'm actually going to put this, I have a journal here, right, and this journal holds lots of smaller books that in the main cover tarot and some little, sort of doodling. One covers Lenormand and one covers travel, but you can buy wider versions of these that hold slightly bigger books, which I want to get in order to hold the likes of this notebook, this book, so that I can pop them in there and carry them with me, particularly when I'm going foraging. And as many of you will know from previous videos, I've really gotten into this growing my own foodstuffs and foraging and eating healthier. Although looking at this, you'd think, Elaine, really? I'm getting there. Slowly but surely I'm getting there. Now, this book is The Secret Craft of the Wise, Magical Herbalism, and it's written by Scott Cunningham. Now, Scott Cunningham has written a number of books, and many of them are based around Wicca, and they're listed on the back here. I won't go through those now, but we will look at the blurb for this book. Herbal magic is one of the easiest, safest and most joyous methods of re-establishing earth roots, of returning to a healthy and natural life. The classic introduction to magic herbalism, practice an ancient magic that is both natural and beautiful. The magic of amulets and charms, sachets and herbal pillows, incenses and scented oils. This practical and poetic guidebook by Scott Cunningham has introduced over 100,000 readers to the practice of herbal magic. Magical herbalism will teach you how to identify, gather, grow, dry, store herbs and use them for protection, divination, healing and love. And included in this classic guides are the magical names of herbs, flowers, trees and roots, a witch's herbal, herbal reeds, and a list of baneful herbs and flying ointments. And these can be, you can use your herbs for this sort of thing, but you can also use your herbs in cooking, in leading to a healthier lifestyle and eating more natural stuff rather than processed. I'm finding that I'm really enjoying that, and going out to my greenhouse and just picking the salad fresh daily. At the moment the tomatoes are still growing, but the chard, the lettuce, the mint, the chives, the basil, picking all those and using them on a daily basis, and soon my potatoes will be ready, and I'm quite excited about that. But let's get back to the book. What I liked about this is the way it's set out very simply. There's a little bit about the author and a little bit about herbs at the front, a little introduction, and a list of books that Scott Cunningham has written. Now, the contents, I like the way it's set out. We have the introduction first, then we get on to part 1, preparations, and under preparations, tools of the magical herbalists, everything that you will need to follow these instructions. Then you need magic, a short primer, okay, and the magic, again, it's in you, pretty much like this, okay. This is all based around us and what we do and our daily practices and how to incorporate them in creating a better life, whether it's through our mindset or through healthier habits. Identifying, gathering, drying and storing herbs. That would be great to bring with me when I'm heading out. Let me just have a look on page 31 for that one. Would that suffice? Because I have another little herbal book that I take with me as well. Can I eat that? Can't I? Yeah, we are fortunate today to be able to purchase many herbs in speciality shops. But this talks about going out on as a field guide, gathering, and it has little little words, reciting words such as, "Thou hast grown by favour of the sun, the moon, and of the dew. I make this intercession, ye herb, I beseech thee, to be of benefit to me and my art," and it continues on. And they're just little rituals that just bring you that bit closer to Mother Nature and more natural herbs, etc. Then we have the language of magical herbalism. Part 2 are herbal secrets, protection, divination, healing and love. Herbs of the elements and magical fluid condensers, and then scented oils and perfumes, incense and amulets, and the witch's herbal. Part 3 is the magic garden. It's your own herbal garden. And then you have an appendices which gives you further reading. So you have the magical names of herbs and flowers, trees and roots, baneful herbs and flying ointments. I have yet to read what they mean by flying ointments. Sources for herbs and oils, and herbal reeds. Okay, so that's there. It's a nice handy little book. It's easy to pop into your bag and read as you go along. The third book I'm going to show you is a murder mystery, one of my favourites. This is a book written by Lucinda Riley, and Lucinda Riley has written a series called the Seven Sisters series, which I'm hoping to read before it's turned into a TV series, because personally I prefer reading a book before seeing a TV or movie. And I like to then see how they've sort of kept to the script of the book, what they've removed, what they've kept, because sometimes they remove things thinking, oh well, that's not too important to the plot, when in fact it could be something tiny that is actually very important. You think, well, they've messed that storyline up. So let's have a look and see what this says. But before I go on, sorry, a little bit about Lucinda Riley. I picked up this book, and before I had read the blurb on the back, the cover caught my eye, as I've never read any Lucinda Riley books in the past. This will be a new author on my bookshelf. But what made me decide on this was this last paragraph here. I was just having a look. It's a little bit about Lucinda Riley herself, that she was born here in Ireland and lived in the UK, and she brought her children up in the UK. However, let's just read this last bit of the paragraph here. Though she brought up her 4 children mostly in Norfolk in England, in 2015 Lucinda fulfilled her dream of buying a remote farmhouse in West Cork, Ireland, which she always felt was her spiritual home, and indeed this was where her last 5 books were written. West Cork in Ireland is beautiful. There are remote places of peace, tranquility, and quite spiritual in atmosphere. After they moved there in 2015, sadly, Lucinda was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, and she passed away in June of last year, 2021. And that struck a chord with me, because Lucinda would have been battling cancer around the same time I was just recovering from a battle of my own. And it just struck that chord, that how lucky I am to be here, and how unlucky not just Lucinda's family, but the world really have lost an author. I've done some reading on Lucinda Riley since then, and didn't realise how worldwide her books are, and how many languages they've been translated into, and just how big an author she actually was. And it just struck a chord that I really should be appreciative of being this side of the grass, so to speak. So on that, I turned over the book and I read the blurb on the back, and I thought, yeah, I didn't even need to read the blurb to know this was coming home with me. I just felt drawn to this book. One dead bully and a school full of suspects. When a young student is found dead at a private boarding school, its elite reputation is at risk. The headmaster is determined to write the death off as a tragic accident. But Detective Jazz Hunter will soon suspect that a murder has been committed. Escaping her own problems in London, the beautiful and isolated landscape of rural Norfolk had felt like the ideal place for Jazz to hide. But when it becomes clear the victim was tangled in a web of loyalties and old vendettas that go far beyond just one student, and as the body count begins to grow, Jazz knows that she is running out of time. All roads lead back to the closed world of the school, but Fleet House and its residents refuse to give up their secret so easily. And as her investigation gathers pace, Jazz realises that they are even more sinister than she could possibly have imagined. So this one is one I'm looking forward to getting my teeth into. I love my murder mysteries, and that's a book. That's The Murders at Fleet House by Lucinda Riley. Now the next three books take us now into the world of tarot. These next two books I'm going to show you I came across purely by accident. In fact, it was the day after I had bought The Murder at Fleet House. And I'm going to have to rein in my spending on books, actually. But these are definitely two books for the beach. Well, if we ever do get beach weather. Otherwise it's going to be by the fire in my house during summer. But these two books are definitely light reading, but based on tarot, which surprised me immensely because we haven't always been able to get a lot of literature that's for fictional reading and writing based on tarot as such. There's a lot of know-hows and how-to books, a lot of support and guidance, but literature for the sake of literature, it's not been very often. However, I do feel tarot is coming more to the fore in many people's lives in today's society, because with what's happening in the world, what has happened historically in the world, in organised religions, people are sort of moving away from that cult-like mindset into being more spiritual beings and absorbing everything that's around them and making their own decisions, and tarot is playing a part in that. And to find enjoyable literature, and I have actually started this first book here, is great. Now, All Our Hidden Gifts, this is written by Caroline O'Donoghue, as is this one, the second book in it. The cards hold the truth. Be careful what you ask. Maeve Chambers doesn't have any special gifts. That is until she finds a dusty old pack of tarot cards and starts giving uncannily accurate readings to everyone around her. But when she reads for her ex-best friend Lily, a strange card appears in the deck and everything goes wrong. Lily doesn't come to school the next day or the next, and Maeve knows she's been taken somewhere the police will never find her. Only the cards and something much older, something even more powerful, can bring her back. I am just starting chapter, let's see, just bear with me. I'm just coming to the end of chapter 2 on this. I picked it up, where are we today? Tuesday. I picked this up on Sunday. I didn't do any reading yesterday, but I picked this up on Sunday. I'm on chapter 2, come to the end of chapter 2, and it's great because it's a very easy read. It's enjoyable. You can almost transport you back to the time when you were maybe the age of 15 or 16 in school and exploring all the nooks and crannies in old buildings, but also being that pupil that might have been a little bit troublesome because you're that little bit different. And it's really good. It transports you back. This next book is, I would imagine, it's the second in this sort of series, The Gifts That Bind. Again, it's by Caroline O'Donoghue, and this is grim, gripping and gorgeous, writes Deirdre Sullivan. Some gifts are given freely, others expect something in return. Maeve and her friends have spent the summer practicing their gifts. Maeve can read minds, Ro picks locks, Fiona can heal, and Lily channels electricity. What's more, Ro and Maeve are officially an item. But with strange things happening at school and old enemies appearing in new places, it's clear their powers are attracting the wrong attention. It's not long before Maeve's gifts start to wane, drained by someone or something, hidden even from her second sight. And Holly Bourne writes, it was spellbinding and she was utterly bewitched. So 2 light reads to be able to carry along, and they're light books to hold too. Carry along in your handbag or in your beach bag if you want to just lose yourself in fantasy, are all our hidden gifts and the gifts that bind us. So if you're into tarot, you're into esoteric subjects, and you just want to read something fantastically fictitious, there you go. Now this next book is one that I would recommend for tarot collectors' libraries. It is a lovely book based on the history, symbolism and designs of tarot decks, and it's the Iconic Tarot Deck by Sarah Bartlett. Okay, now it's a hardcover book. It's fairly heavy to hold. It's a book that I would use to dip in and use as a reference guide. As you can see, all the images are in colour. The print is very clear. All the images have explanations, etc., etc. Okay, and this book transports us, or helps us travel through various historical decks. There are over 50 decks discussed in this book, and we'll have a look at what it says on the back. Discover the secrets of the most iconic, mysterious and beautiful tarot decks ever created. The tarot is a treasury of divination, symbolism and self-knowledge. But who created its mysterious art and meaning, and why? What were they seeking? Does it originate in ancient esoteric wisdom, or is this a vain fancy of the occultists? How does the interpretation and meaning of the cards evolve? Each of the 56 decks in this book holds its own unique symbolism and mystical beginnings. From the Visconti Sforza, the 15th century deck that reveals the fates of 2 Italian dynasties, to the Solobusca Tarot with its esoteric alchemical codex. From the pioneering Rider-Waite-Smith deck to the occult riddles of English magic tarot. This is the perfect book for collectors, cartomancers, designers, tattoo artists and anyone interested in the art and mystery of tarot. And what I am actually going to do, I haven't done it yet, this is going upstairs onto my tarot library where I have my own little room that I normally video things from, but today I chose to come back downstairs. And I'm looking forward to taking out particularly my Solobusca, because that deck is quite an enigma to me, to be quite honest. So what I'm going to enjoy doing there is looking at the cards that they've taken from that particular deck, taking my own copy and reading about it and finding what is being discussed about the card within the card in my hand. And that is something that I can do with a number of cards here, because many of the cards most of us tarot collectors will have on our shelves. There's the Morgan Greer, the Aquarium Tarot. Let's see if at the front it gives us an actual list of the decks covered here. Contents: influential decks, beginners divination decks, art and collectors decks, esoteric and occult decks, contemporary decks. So it goes right through. It doesn't actually list the decks here in the front. It tells about the major arcana, gives us the simple symbols, the minor arcana discussing the suits and the elements, and the court cards gives us a sentence under each. So for instance, take the King of Wands, powerful authoritative figure. So it doesn't really go in depth, it just sort of gives you a title. Pages: all pages represent playful energy, childish lovers of friends, opportunists, light-hearted adults. How to use the tarot, and then what's going on in my life. So there's a couple of spreads here, 3-card spread, a 4-card spread, 5-card spread. Then it gives us a history of the tarot, and then influential decks. I'm just hoping that this, and it starts off, the first one is the Visconti Sforza, and I think it goes through all the majors. Yeah, it seems to go through all the majors, and yeah, it goes through all the not all the majors, sorry, it goes through most of the majors, but it'll be an interesting read. So, our dip in, dip out, iconic tarot decks, and a history on each of the decks that they've covered. So folks, that wraps up our talk about books today. I've gone on a little longer than I anticipated. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to catching up with you all soon. And I'm hoping that some Kickstarters that I backed over a year ago start making an appearance so that we can discuss them too. Take care, enjoy your day, whatever you may be doing, and if you've got some sunshine wherever you are, could you just ask it to come over and glow down on County Wicklow? I would be ever so grateful. Take care everyone, and like I said, chat soon.